If you go to our website, you can see it on your screen, michigan.gov/ready-to-read. And if you scroll down, we have our sponsors and support here. And I'd like to draw attention especially to the Institute of Museum and Library Services, as well as the Consumers Energy Foundation for their support. And this is where you're going to find our Storytime programming guide down here at the bottom of this page. You'll also find past issues of our newsletter and some past early Every Child Ready to Read trainings we've done. But the Storytime guide should be on your screen now. That's the front cover. You see it, Jen? She's got a printed copy to model. So please do take a look at that Storytime guide. We've got wonderful materials in it, and Jen's going to highlight some things out of it today, so I'm not going to dive into it, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew you could find that at michigan.gov/ready-to-read. And I'm going to let Jen take it away here.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Can everybody see me? I hid myself because it's really distracting, and I'm here in a room all by myself. So I know you're out there, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. Welcome to everyone, whether you're a new youth librarian or whether you're a veteran librarian. I hope that you learn and see at least one new idea that you're going to be able to use during your outreach during March's Reading Month, and also to use during summer reading, because the book that we're featuring today is an incredible resource for our summer reading 2019 Space, a Universe of Stories. So welcome everyone. This is the second webinar in a series of 4 that we're offering for best storytime practices. On March 21st, we're going to go to a galaxy far, far away. I'm actually coming dressed as Rey from Star Wars, and we're going to dig into 2019 and look at a lot of different ideas that you can use this summer. And then our final webinar is on April 16th at 2 o'clock, all of them. And in that one, we're going to be looking at acting it out and playing. So featuring in the 5 practices, the concept of playing with our little ones and using some really wonderful stories that lend themselves to play. So I just wanted to let you know that those webinars are going to be coming up March 21st and April 16th as well. So let's dig in. Last month, if you were with us, and even if you weren't, we did a webinar to sort of introduce all 4 of these. And in that webinar, it was called Storytime, Your Time to Shine. And in that webinar, I talked a little bit about how important you are as librarians, and we're going to reiterate that today in this webinar as well. You are often the first hit that families, parents, and caregivers have with their little ones to learn about reading and the importance of it, to learn about literacy and how they can help their little ones grow. So we talked a little bit about how important you were last month. We're going to really emphasize the fact that you are the ones in story times that help parents, caregivers, and especially our young patrons fall in love with reading. We talked about the 5 practices last month, and you're going to see that show up again in the resource guide for this storybook, Touch the Brightest Star. It's really important, again, to have all 5 practices in all our story times so that we're modeling what literacy really is, and it's way more than reading. It's talking and singing and writing and playing. So I'll be modeling some of those as well. We also talked a little bit last time about how to put it all together, and in your handout again this month, I've added that template for storytime planning so that you might use that to make sure that you have all 5 practices in your story times each time you plan one. So welcome everyone, we're going to get started. We've designed this webinar and this book, the Ready to Read Michigan Selection for 2019, is really geared towards your youngest patrons. So this book has possibilities with infants, on lap time story times, possibilities with toddlers, and also for those preschoolers. And we're going to share ideas for all 3 of those age groups. If you don't know already, the Ready to Read 2019 Michigan book is Touch the Brightest Star. And I have to tell you that I've been pretty amazed at going through this book and planning this webinar for you, because it really does lend itself to every age group that I just mentioned. So it's an absolutely beautiful book to help parents and help caregivers understand how they can use one book to expand and extend literacy in so many different ways. So I'm really excited to share this about you. I also want to back up what Kathy has said about this resource guide. Use it. It has such incredible ideas inside, and it lays out for you story times for all of those 3 age groups. And so all the ideas with the 5 practices laid out, with a number of wonderful bibliographies, with resources that you can use for companion books during your story time. So please look at this resource guide and use it. It's amazing. So today I'm going to be modeling how to share that book. I'm going to be modeling the 5 practices, and I'm going to also be sharing some ideas from my own repertoire. So some other ideas for crafts and writing, other ideas for songs and singing and participation that you might be able to use. So let's get started. In any story time, you should always have a welcome song, and you can decide what your favorite welcome song is. And that welcome song can be the same song that you sing at the end to close your story time, or it can be an entirely different song that you use to say goodbye. But in bringing everyone together, no matter what the age, for a story time, it's important to have everyone feel welcomed. Now, there should be a resource guide have been in the box with the, I'm reading the chat. Okay, sorry.
No, I'll address that, yep.
You catch those, Kathy. Thank you for keeping an eye on the chat box, because I'm really not. Until the end, we'll have a Q&A. So welcome song. This is a song that is in your resource guide, but I have taken this song a long time ago, and I've added sign language to it. I've done another thing. I've added new verses to it. And the third thing that I've done with this very well-known song is that I've added another, not just a welcome, but a way to close with the same song. So it's the more we get together, but I want to teach you some of the sign language that you're going to see in this song. So the first one is more. You can practice these with me. They're in the office where you're sitting and watching. This is more. This is together. Put your fists and your thumbs together and extend it out together. We're going to use the sign for happy. You can do it with one hand or 2. This is happy. And this is be. This is be. Okay? Your or your. And my. And we're going to use the sign for friends. And then I've added a couple of verses to this. So we're going to use the sign for songs. And then we're going to use the sign for story. So let me show you how it goes. I'll do it nice and slow, and you can do it with me, because you know that your brain's going to learn this song better if you do it with me. So you're all alone in an office too, and so am I. So you might feel funny, but you get used to it after a while. You ready?
Jen, are you ready? Ready for me to do it with you?
Yep.
Okay.
The more we get together, 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 the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. I like adding verses that sort of take into consideration the 5 practices. So I do this one second. The more we sing together, 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 the more we sing together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your songs are my songs, and my songs are your songs. The more we sing together, the happier we'll be. Isn't that wonderful? So we add those 2 on, and I think there was one more that I wanted to share with you. Let me check. Oh yeah, okay, so the more we tell together, 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 the more we tell together, the happier we'll be. 'cause your stories, stretching it out, are my stories. My stories are your stories. The more we tell together, the happier we'll be. So it's a beautiful welcome song, you guys. You can do one verse, you can do two verses. And Kathy, are we still on?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. Because I wasn't seeing the screen that I was before. Thank you. You guys are still seeing me. I don't see the chat box any longer. So I'm going to rely on you for that part. Okay. And when we get to question and answers at the end, I guess I'll figure out how to find you again. Let's see. I don't know what happened there. So we'll figure that out. All right.
It's probably just minimized on you.
What's that?
It probably just minimized on you. Don't worry about it.
There you are. Okay, I'll look at you. Right. So you guys, the same song can be used for the ending. And this is all in your handout, so you'll have the words for this, okay? So you can use the same tune, and it's really wonderful to have that repetition and use that same song, right? So this time, we're going to go like this. It's time for us to go now, okay? Go now. Go now. It's time for us to go now. I'll see you next time. I'm going to do it again. It's time for us to go now. Go now. Go now. It's time for us to go now. I'll see you next time. So just a beautiful way to share a welcome song and an ending song, same tune, and get them involved with that sign language. And if it's infants that you have, then those caregivers and parents have them on their lap and they're keeping eye contact and showing them those signs. If it's toddlers and preschoolers, they may be able to make those signs with you and follow along. So I hope you'll use that welcome song. So this book that we have for the Ready to Read Michigan 2019, like I said, is just an amazing book. So before I get started sharing it with you, I want to bring to your attention some of the incredible features that are in this book that you'll be able to use in your story times with all ages. So some of the amazing things that happen in this book is that there's action words almost on every page, inviting the audience to actually get involved and do something. So I'm going to be showing you what those action words are in just a minute. The other thing is that nearly every page has rhyming words. So those toddlers that are ready to pay attention to those rhyming words, you can engage them in that way. There's beautiful illustrations, and it's watercolor illustrations that take you from morning to the darkness of night and then back into morning again. So just the essence of the illustrations are going to help you share this book to go from sunrise to sunset, nighttime, and sunrise again. There's incredible predicting. So she is asking us on every page to sort of wonder and try to predict what's going to happen when we turn the page. And many of those are tied right in with those action words that she uses in her book. The other is that for our older patrons, for our preschool students, they will have had some of the experiences in this book, either at school or on the playground or with their families and friends. And so we can enlist their responses by asking them if they know the animals, if they've ever had these experiences that are in this book. So I'd like to share it with you. And again, in your resource guide, there's really specific ways that you can design a story time for infants, for toddlers, and for preschoolers. Because of the time of our webinar today, I'm going to sort of model all of that and bring attention to certain things with you as I read the book with you. But the first thing that I want to show you is that in your resource guide, there's a page, a template that has all the action words on it. And this is a really lovely way to share with parents and caregivers of infants during lap time, so that they know what action words are coming and they can engage with that little one eye to eye, face to face with these action words and see if they can elicit some response from the babies. So I put those action words on bigger cards. You can make them bigger if you want to. You can keep them small, depends on how big your story time groups are. But these are the action words that we're going to see in the story, and I'd like to introduce them to parents and caregivers. There they are. Thanks, Kathy. I like to show them so that they can get ready to share with their little ones when that word shows up in the pages of the book. The first action word we're going to see is wave, and so we can actually practice these before we read the book. Caregiver to baby, see if we can't wave or get them to wave back. There's a part of the book where we're going to have to blow a breeze, and so we would encourage those caregivers maybe to blow across the hand or the back of the neck of that baby. We're going to blow. On one of the pages, a deer shows up, and we're going to pat that deer. So we might practice having the caregivers pat that little one's back very gently, or pat a leg, or even just pat a hand, and we say the word pat. We're going to see the word tap, and the author's going to ask us to tap near a place on the page, so we can tap our finger. They can tap on their palm. They might tap very gently on that little one's cheek, or tap on their lap. So we're going to learn the action word tap. In one of the pages of the book, we're going to have to count some things. So we'll have the word count, 1, 2. We're going to have to blink our eyes when it's time to go to sleep, so we can practice blinking and opening, blinking and opening. And then finally, oops, not finally, the word touch. She's going to have us actually touch those fireflies to make them light up on the next page. So touch, and we can practice gently touching. For those infants, your resource guide suggests that you have several infant-appropriate toys that might look like stars or look like the moon that they can softly touch. That's one of the action words. And then finally, a little bit more progressed, we're going to actually trace the stars in the Big Dipper. So we can practice tracing, or tracing on the carpet, or writing our names, or tracing, and there's other activities in the guide that will help them trace objects that appeared in the book. So those are the action words. Let's take a look at this beautiful book. And I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to share several ideas with you, and you can decide which age group they might be appropriate for. The name of the book that we're going to share today is called Touch the Brightest Star. Touch the Brightest Star. There's a really bright star right here on the cover. We have some friends who are going to join us in this book. We're going to meet the fireflies and the owls. We're going to meet a deer. And this beautiful book was written by Christy Matheson. I hope you guys can see it. I put the webcam down just a little bit closer this time so that you can see better. Beautiful watercolors in this book that show the sky. It's morning time. It's not dark out yet. There's a beautiful tree and a little friend flying off our page over here. What color is that bird? Yeah, it's a blue bird. Let's see what it says. Magic happens every night. First, wave goodbye to the sun's bright light. Let's wave goodbye. The sun's going away. We're going to wave goodbye to the bright light of the sun. Now those two words, they sound quite a bit alike. Those are called rhyming words, and we're going to see them through this whole book. Bright and light. Can you say them with me? Bright light. We're going to wave goodbye to the bright light and see what happens on the next page. I want you to watch and see. Tell me if the sky looks different to you on the next page. Got a little bit darker, didn't it? And I want you to watch that tree and see if the tree looks different as we move into the nighttime. This page says, gently press the firefly. How many of you have ever seen a firefly before? How many of you have caught one in a jar and watched it light that jar up? We used to do that when I was young. Let's press the firefly. Get your finger ready. We're going to press the firefly very gently. You can have little ones come up and do this to the actual page if your story time is not too large. What do you think is going to happen on the next page? We just press the firefly. What do you think is going to happen? Some of them might tell you that it's going to light up. Some may not say anything at all. Press their noses. Good job, right? They can press their noses as learning how to do the action word press. Thanks, Kathy. Oh, press again to light up the sky. Our sky has gotten darker, hasn't it? And our tree is starting to look just a little bit different because the sky behind it is dark. But look what happened when we pressed the firefly. It lit up. Look at that bottom of the firefly. It has a magic light on its tail. And when it gets dark outside, why, that firefly lights up. Isn't that amazing? And we have another friend coming in to our picture. Right over here, I see a nose. Can any of you guess who might be joining us? Let's see who's going to join us. Oh my goodness, the whole sky is lit up with fireflies now. Let's count how many there are in the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fireflies lighting up the sky. And who was the friend who joined us? A white-tailed deer joined us. And it looks like she might be young. She still has speckles on her body. You know what? They look a little bit like the fireflies, don't they? And let's go back to our tree and see how different the tree looks. It's getting darker in the sky, but those fireflies are lighting everything up. Let's read this page. Now, let's blow a quiet breeze. We're going to blow a breeze. I want you to take a real deep breath. And we're going to blow across our hand and see what it feels like. What did that feel like? Some may say warm, some may say cool. At nighttime, when we feel that breeze, if it's been a hot day, that breeze can cool us off. We blew a quiet breeze. Oh, looks like the fireflies are starting to fly away. And let's take a look and see what our deer has done. That deer came all the way over to the tree. What do you think that deer might be planning to do? Raise your hand if you think the deer is a little hungry. I do too. Looks like our friend, the white-tailed deer, is going to munch a little bit on those leaves. It says, pat the deer. I want you to take your hand and just pat your leg very gently. Pat, pat, pat. We can pat our cheeks, right? I want you to pat the top of your head. Now let's pat our tummies. We're going to pat the deer. And say good night, please. Oh, please. I think I need to back up and see if there was a rhyming word for please. Now let's blow a quiet breeze. Pat the deer and say good night, please. Can we all say good night together? Good night. Time to go to sleep. Oh, did the sky get lighter or darker? It's a beautiful dark blue now, isn't it? And look at our tree. And what's happened to our deer? The deer is leaving, but look, what did they eat? All the leaves off of the tree. This page says, tap the sky beside the tree. We're going to tap this time. You can tap your nose or tap your cheek. We're going to tap right next to the tree. Can anybody guess what might happen if we tap the dark night sky? Let's turn the page and see what happens. You ready? Look, right where we tapped the sky. What happened? A beautiful star came out, didn't it? Beautiful, bright star. It's the only star in the whole sky. This page says, make a wish and count to 3. We could talk about what it means to make a wish. When we make a wish, we think of a happy thought, something that we would love to see happen, and we hold that thought in our heart, and we keep it a secret, and we hope that one day that wish will come true. We're going to talk more about wishes in a little while. In fact, we might even make some wishes that you can take home with you. Make a wish and count to 3. What do you think we're going to be counting? There's already 1 in the sky. Think we're going to see more stars? Let's see what happens. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 stars in the sky now. This page says, swipe the sky from left to right. We're going to take our finger and practice swiping. When we swipe, we move from side to side. You can swipe the floor right in front of you. You can swipe down your arm. We're going to swipe the sky in the book from left to right. You know what? That's how we read words in a book too. We read from left to right. Can you help me swipe the sky from left to right? Swipe. Let's see what happens. Wow! That word says wow. That means we're pretty excited. Wow! Look what happened when we swiped from left to right. A beautiful shooting star. You know, they call those meteors sometimes. Shooting star is really not a star at all. It's a rock that came from space, came into the air of our atmosphere, and whew, it burned up. When we see a shooting star, we're seeing a rock from space burn up in the sky. It's pretty special when you see one of those. Has anyone out there ever seen a shooting star? And we might solicit those stories as we ask those questions of our older patrons to see what experiences they may have had. Maybe they've seen a shooting star and they want to tell you all about it. This says, now blink your eyes. Let's practice blinking our eyes. Close them. Now open them. Close them. Now open them. Let's see what happens when we shut and blink our eyes. Oh, what a starry night. Look, there's more than 3 stars now. There's a whole bunch of stars in the sky now. Touch the brightest star and see. Psst. It's right there near the tree. We have words that sound alike again. See and tree. Let's read that again. Touch the brightest star you see. Psst. That's a hint. It's right there near the tree. Let's touch the brightest star we see. That's the brightest one, isn't it? How many of you have ever laid outside at night on a blanket and looked up at all the beautiful stars? Tell me about that. Tell me about a time you did that. Tell me what you saw when you laid out on a beautiful starry night and you looked up. What kind of things did you think about? Oh, look. Trace the picture of the dipper. That's kind of a spoon. We're going to take our finger and we're going to trace the stars in a constellation that's called the Big Dipper. Have any of you seen the Big Dipper in the sky? Let's take our finger and trace those stars. I'm going to count them as I trace them to see how many stars are in the dipper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks just like a big spoon. You know, I brought some dippers with me today because, you know, people looked up in the sky years ago and when they saw that constellation, they thought it looked just like a dipper. We have these at home. How many of you have one in a drawer at home? Have you ever had soup for dinner and you use a Big Dipper to scoop it out? That dipper is just like the Big Dipper in the sky. Oh my goodness, look. There's not just one dipper in the sky now. There's 2. Look, a little one. Time to whisper, come out moon. But let's trace the Little Dipper too and see how many stars are in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, there's 7 stars in the Big Dipper and 7 stars in the Little Dipper. 2 spoons way up in the sky. Time to whisper. We're going to whisper this, okay? We're going to do this together. We're going to say, come out, moon. Can you do that with me? Come out, moon. Let's see what happens. Oh, I saw a hint over here. Did you? What's coming out? I think the moon is coming out. Let's see. Look, a great big full moon. How many of you have ever been out to see the big full moon? It's beautiful. I saw it last night. Did anybody see it last night? Watch the sky and call, who, who? What says who? Owls do, don't they? Is there any owls coming into our story? You see one way over here? Let's do it again. Watch the sky and call, who, who? Good job. Then turn the page and see who's new. We said who, and that rhymes with new. Let's see who's new. Oh, there's not just one owl. How many are there? There's 2 owls. Let's count them. 1, 2, big owls in the top branch, and the little owls in the bottom branch. And look, our moon is starting to move across the sky. It says, rub the owls on their heads. You know what it means to rub? Let's rub your own head first. Now let's go and rub the owl's head. We're going to rub that big owl's head. Think he likes it? Now we're going to rub the little owl's head. Rub the owls on their heads. It's their turn to fly to bed. Head and bed. Let's see if the owls go to sleep. Oh, look, are they gone? The owls aren't on the branches anymore. Where do you think they went? You think they went to bed? I do too. Close your eyes and breathe in deeply. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to take a big deep breath like this. And let's let it out again. Nod your head if you feel sleepy. Breathing in deeply, we're going to nod our head and see if we feel sleepy. Let's breathe in again. Now nod your head if you feel sleepy. Do ya? I do too. Oh my goodness. This must be us with our eyes shut while we're sleeping at night. There's nothing in the sky because our eyes are shut. Can you cover your eyes? Peekaboo. Peekaboo, let's shut them. What do you see? It's pretty dark when we shut our eyes. Pretty dark when we sleep at night. Shh, time to sleep. When you open your eyes again, let's open them up. Look at it. The sky's getting lighter again. What do you think's happening? Is morning coming? I think so. Who came back into our story? Our happy little bluebird came back into the story. When you open your eyes again, the magic of the day begins. The sun has come up again. We wake up in the morning and the magic of the day begins. Our bluebird is singing a song. And look who else is in our magic morning of the day. Butterflies, yellow one. What color is this one? Yep, a red one with a blue body and another yellow butterfly. And look, there's morning glories climbing up the tree. Morning glories are flowers that only bloom when the sun comes back up in the morning. The end. Nice job on the story, everyone. So I tried to share that story in many different ways, bringing out the action words and bringing out the rhyming words. and noticing everything on the page. So you know the 5 practices are really important, and that first practice is talking, and talking about everything. So lots and lots of rich language are being heard as we share those books. So beautiful action words in that story, beautiful rhyming words. Can talk about the stars and the moon and shooting stars with those older listeners, the preschool listeners. There's animals and plants to talk about in that story. You can ask questions and talk about all the experiences that they have had that this book might remind them of. Maybe they had seen a deer, a shooting star. Maybe they've laid out and looked up at the starry sky at night. So we can talk about all of those things so that that language is rich and we're honoring the experiences that our listeners have already had. You can go back through the book many times if you want, and if they're still paying attention. And pay attention to different things each time you go back through, or you can select certain pages and go back through and just look at those things on certain pages to talk about. So again, the resource guide is just chock filled with ideas for those 3 age groups so that you can pattern this story time for the audience that's in front of you, or you can actually do it for a multi-age audience as well and bring in some of all of those wonderful features of the book. So Kathy, are there any questions that are coming up so far that I need to talk about?
No questions that I've seen come through, but feel free to post everybody. Jennifer,
yeah, if there's any questions about anything that you're seeing or questions about how you should pattern it, again, that resource guide is going to really help you if you have a specific age group in front of you.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay, so we know that one of the practices is singing. And we know that singing is a wonderful way to share language with our little ones. We can sing all day, but singing before bed is a wonderful way to share with students, with our little ones. So I'm going to share with you a few songs. Some are in the resource guide, some are songs that I have in my repertoire. And so we're going to start with a familiar one. It's always good to do songs that they already know so they feel successful and part of the group right away. And so of course we're going to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but there's motions that are described in your resource guide that you can add to it. So we're going to start with our fists right by our shoulders, and we're going to sing Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Now we're going to wonder by holding our hands out. How I wonder what you are. Hands up. Up above the world so high. Like a diamond. We're actually going to make a diamond with our hands. Like a diamond in the sky. Back to our shoulders. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. We're wondering, how I wonder what you are. So the simplest motions will help them feel like they're included in this. And also, it's a song they should already know or maybe has heard before. And so that familiarity is going to make them feel part of the group. Okay, so I've shared this song with you before, but I've changed it now because of this book. And I've added fireflies to the song because there are fireflies in this story. And I don't know about you, but fireflies have always been a magical thing for me. So it's called The Stars at Night. And you start with your hands way up high like this. And it goes like this. The stars at night, they twinkle-link-a-link. Now we're going to point way up in the sky. Away up in the sky. The fireflies, they blink-a-link-a-link. They shine before my eyes. So let's try that. The fireflies, they blink-a-link-a-link. They shine before my eyes. Then we're going to make a great big moon. The moon at night, it shines on everything. And I forgot this because I just changed these words. Sorry, you guys. Oh no, it lights up everything. Oh my. So let me put that together for you, all right? The stars at night, they twinkle-link-a-link, away up in the sky. The fireflies, they blink-a-link-a-link. They shine before my eyes. The moon at night, it shines on everything. I think I left out a line in this song. I'm sorry. Oh, twinkle-link-a-link. Oh, blink-a-link-a-link. Oh, shines on everything. Oh my, I'm sorry, there's a line missing. Sorry, I'll show you what the actual song was so that you can do this as well because it's really good for this theme as well. So let's start off twinkling again. It goes like this. The stars at night, they twinkle-link-a-link away up in the sky. The moon at night, it blink-a-link-a-link. It shines right in my eye. The skunks at night, they stink-a-link-a-link. I wish they'd say goodbye. We put it together. Oh, twinkle-link-a-link. Oh, blink-a-link-a-link. Oh, stink-a-link-a-link. Oh my. So I'm sorry about that one line. I'll redo that, Kath. I'll get it back to you and we'll get it back out to you. What I do is I take songs that I've sung for a long time, and when there's a new storytime theme, don't you do this too? You come up with different words and you do it in just a little bit different way. So they still know that song, but you've changed some of those words so that they can learn a different vocabulary and their brains can grow a little bit more around that language. All
Hey,
right?
Jen.
Yeah.
We had a couple of comments. So one person noticed,
Yep.
they mentioned in the chat that their black pages, the shush in their book stuck together. So they were very happy to see that. So
Oh,
check your books, make sure all your
they
pages
got
are
stuck
cut.
together. Yeah, that's sleeping time.
They are fresh off the printer. They come to us from overseas on freight containers, and so they are fresh books. And then there's a couple of comments about the sign language for the diamond.
I don't think that's actual sign language, but I
Right.
read it in the resource guide.
Yeah, to just do that. That's maybe easier for some younger ones.
It's just easy to make that diamond shape, but I don't think that's technically sign language for diamond, and it wasn't intended to be that way.
Okay, and a suggestion to, if you do want to do sign language, yes, exactly. You trace it with your
You
finger.
trace it. But in that
Yep.
song, we just, right. Sorry,
Right.
you guys.
Just making
So
motions.
we're just making motions, and so that wasn't technically sign language. It's just making a diamond, and for little hands, it was really great to do it that way. Okay. Oh, I see what somebody's saying, that it's female body part. Okay, I didn't know that. Is that actually the sign language for that part of our bodies? Does anybody know? I didn't know that.
Somebody is saying
Somebody
it is.
mentioned
So,
that.
okay, good
Okay,
to know.
might
We'll
be
trace.
great. Might not be a great thing to do, especially if there's grown-ups in the audience. You know, they may think that's a little strange. So we'll keep it at shape of a diamond, or you can hold up a diamond like that. But in the resource guide, it said put your fingers and thumbs together and actually make a diamond. So I don't know. I see the point. So sorry about that. Okay. All right. So I did have the line to the moon song. So I'm gonna sing it again. This was new, so I don't have it like locked in. But the moon at night, it shines down bright. It lights up everything. Okay. So oh, twinkle-link-a-link. Oh, blink-a-link-a-link. Oh, lights up everything. Oh my. So the words are in your handouts, and I always tell any participants, live or webinar, you need to call me and you need to sing that song together again. Call me on the phone. We'll sing it together so you can get it in your head as well. Okay? So that song is a little bit of a different song. So getting the wiggles out. This is my Get the Wiggles Out song, but I changed it for our theme as well. So I want you to stand up to do this with me, right? And I changed it just a little bit for our theme of Touch the Brightest Stars. So it goes like this. I can reach up to the stars. Reach up, stretch. I can reach up to the stars. Now we're going to touch the ground. I can touch the ground. I usually have them do a froggy pose, but not all the grown-ups are willing to do that, but it feels really good if you can do that, right? Put my hands upon my hips. Now we're going to turn ourselves around. Turn myself around. One hand up and one hand down. Then we're going to switch them and sing, pretend that I can fly. And they can fly around a little bit if they want. Depends on how much you want to let them go and how big your group is, right? Pretend that I can fly. Shake the hand of my new friend. You're going to shake a hand nearby, right? And reach out for the sky. So let's do that one again. I can reach up to the stars. I can touch the ground. Put my hands upon my hips. Spin myself around. One hand up and one hand down. Pretend that I can fly. Shake the hand of my new friend. Reach up for the sky. Good job, you guys. So I did it last month, and I just changed the words a little bit. You know you're busy, right? You know that a story time's coming up, and you can't have something brand new for every story time, although that's a great goal. So use what you know, but you can change the words. And if they already know the song, they're going to recognize the song, but you're going to build their vocabulary by changing the words just a little bit. So that's another good one. All right? All right. So I want to introduce to you now a companion book. Oh, I got so much, you know, it's always the case. We're 10 minutes to 3, right? So I might not do the companion book, but just talk about it because I have all these craft ideas I want to show you. So let me introduce you to a companion book that's been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. It's called The Night of the Stars. There's a Spanish version. There's also this English version written by Maria Fernandez, or, sorry, you guys. Douglas Gutierrez and Maria Fernandez Oliver. It's called The Night of the Stars. It's a beautiful book to read out loud, and it has watercolors very similar to the type of watercolors that are in our book, Touch the Brightest Stars. So we can talk about those colors of night and watercolors again. It's a beautiful story about a man who's afraid of the night. And he locks himself up in his house when it's dark out, but during the day he waters his garden, he feeds his animals, and he plays music for his dog Fred. At night he's afraid of the dark, and so he locks himself up in his house. But one night he decides that he's going to go up and he's going to have a talk with the night, because his mother told him when he was young that he shouldn't be afraid of the night. The night is a very nice lady. He goes up to the mountain and asks her where she hides the light. And she tells him that she hides it behind her and that she can't do anything about that. He goes back to bed, thinks about what the night has said, and then the next day, while he's trying to get his chores done, all he can do is think about what the night had said, and then he gets an idea. The next night he climbs back up, and with his finger, he pokes a hole through the night and makes a star. When he sees what he can do, he pokes holes all across the sky. His dog Fred helps poke those holes until the sky is filled with stars. He decides he's going to make one more light, and he punches a great big hole in the sky and makes the moon. So this story lends itself to the same theme. And I was going to show you how I do this, but Kathy, I think I'm going to make a YouTube video of this story, and I'll make sure to get that to you by the end of the day tomorrow, so you can see the activity that goes on, because it's one of the stories that I use to play with, which is one of our 5 practices. So the kids actually help water the vegetables in the garden. They scoop the grain to feed the cows. They actually help me punch those holes in the sky and make the moon. And there's a repeating line over and over again in that story that you can enlist their participation. So I will do a YouTube video and get that to you, because I'm sorry I didn't have time to share that with you today. It's a beautiful companion book, so just know that it works really well with Touch the Brightest Star. All right. So I want to also tell you that using poems and lots of different kind of literature in our story times is going to help them grow in language and literacy. It's also going to model for parents and caregivers that we need to share a plethora of reading material with our little ones. And so poems are really wonderful ways to share language with little ones. The most famous poem to go with our theme, Starlight, Star Bright, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight. beautiful poem, and you can go back to that page in the book where it says we're going to count to 3 and make a wish. And then we can talk with those little ones about what a wish is. They can even tell you their wish, and you can write it down for them. This is a wishing card, and they can tell you their wishes. You write it down for them. They take the wishing card home and put it under their pillow that night when they go to sleep. So we can share poems that will then get them involved in making some wishes. Go back to that page in the book that had the wishes on it, okay? So I want to show you that in your resource guide, there's another template for some really wonderful finger puppets. And I used an old song to kind of make this into a finger play that you can do using the templates. I just cut them out and colored them. And you tape them so that they fit around your finger. It's really a lot easier if you put them on the front side of your fingers. I just did them on one, but you can see the example has them on 2 fingers. So this is the poem I came up with, and I'm going to share it with you. And I used the stars and the deer and the fireflies for this one. 2 little stars way up in the sky, one named Twinkle, one named Guy. Go up, Twinkle. Rise up, Guy. Come down, Twinkle. Come down, Guy. 2 little deer chewing on some leaves, just like in the book. One named Amber, one named Jeeves. Run away, Amber. Run away, Jeeves. Come back, Amber. Come back, Jeeves. 2 little fireflies blinking in the air. One named Blinky, one named Flare. Blink once, Blinky. Blink once, Flare. Blink twice, Blinky. Blink twice, Flare. So these are really wonderful, and you can have them available for them to cut out and to color and then tape and take home. And you can even send your parents and caregivers home with the song. So it's really, really fun. So I hope you'll try that one. All right. With the time that we have left, I want to share with you some of the crafts that I would, that may be in your resource guide, but there's a few that I'd like to share with you that are not in the resource guide. So, you know, I just go search like you do, right? Pinterest is our friend, and Grandma Google is a really good friend. She knows so many things and has wonderful ideas. So for our younger patrons, and this is in your handout, I found a pattern for the Big Dipper. So that page in the book about the Big Dipper and how many stars it had, and we counted those stars. So I just took it, really just printed it off and cut it out. I think I blew it up just a little bit and put it on a harder card. And then I punched holes where the stars are. Now those little ones you can have available for them, yellow crayons, so they can actually make stars where the circles are. They draw the stars. And then what I did was I actually got, and you can get them in bulk, right, at Michael's. They are plastic blunt needles, right? So they're not going to hurt anything, but they're very easy to thread and really easy for little hands to manipulate. When we talk about the writing portion of the 5 practices with our youngest patrons, you know that any motor skill or anything that has the meaning of print on page and motor skill is all readiness for them for reading and for writing later on. This is considered a writing activity. So what I did was I threaded those needles ahead of time. I taped it on the back of the card instead of trying to tie a knot because they slip through the hole. And you know how, you know, program entropy goes, right? So I taped it on the back. And caregivers and parents or little ones are simply going to count while they go through the stars and thread that card, right? So we've all done the card threading before. But they're going to count as they go through those stars after they've colored the stars and count how many stars there are in the Big Dipper, right? All the way through, in and out. You can talk about the skills that it needs to go in and out and up and down. And so it's a wonderful way. And then you can tie a knot, help them tie a knot to finish that off and then cut off the end of that. So tie a knot and cut it off. And they could take this home and remember the story time, but also remember that the Big Dipper is a constellation. Maybe look for it the next time they're laying outside, looking at the sky, and how many stars are actually in the Big Dipper. So this is a great craft. The other one that's also it's also in your packet is that I just printed off some dark versions of the Big and the Little Dipper, just like in the book, right? And the stars are on there. So I printed these off and put them on a bigger card to make it a little easier. You can actually do this on construction paper if you want to. So what the little ones then do is you have stars available for them. I have all different kinds of stars here, right? That little ones, littler hands can peel off. All different kinds of stars. But the goal is to have enough stars for them to then put a star on each one of the stars in the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. So I'd go ahead and put all those stars on. I'm going to just do the Big Dipper for you in this example. On each one of those stars that is in the example, so they're going to actually peel and put those stars in. Motor skills like this, incredibly important for developing the resources they'll need later to be writers. So believe it or not, this is a writing skill, right? And I'm putting all those stars on there. And then you will have available to them white crayons. In some of the examples, you'll see chalk, but I thought, why? It's messy, they get it in their eyes, they can be allergic to it. So white crayons, and what they do then is just trace from star to star, and we use that word trace in the story. It was one of our action words. And actually trace the stars in the Big Dipper and make that scoop, that ladle that we saw in the book. So the same would be done for the Little Dipper, and they can go home knowing a little bit more about the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper by taking their constellation cards home with them. The third one, you guys, was just a blast. And I know Kathy's been sharing some of these that she's finding on Pinterest, but this one is just so beautiful. Because I love fireflies so much, I had to do one with fireflies. So piece of black construction paper. The directions are right off of Pinterest in your packet, in your handouts. So black piece of paper, crayons available to them, so they can actually draw the moon. Really important that they draw as well, and draw the stars. That's writing, right? And then make the fireflies. And what this is a plain Band-Aid. And I went to the dollar store and got a box of colored Band-Aids to make the firefly. So I always unwrap them first. You know what a pain it is to unwrap Band-Aids, right? And so they will take, you'll have all those Band-Aids on the table. I'll take the backs off of them. And that's the body of the firefly, right? And then there's purple, green, and blue. So this next one, I'm going to do a green one. Take the backs off and put that crossed like that. Cross over the main part of the firefly's body. And you can talk about crisscross if you want as another vocabulary word in the directions for this. And then crisscross over the other green one, like so. You can use glue dots. You know how handy those are when it comes to messes at story time. Or a little bit of glue, 2 dots of glue for the eyes. And I'm putting those little googly eyes on where I put 2 dots of glue. And then this is fabric paint, the goopy paint, to make their firefly bottoms, light up. So it's goopy, 3D paint. And then they're going to have to let them dry, right? Or maybe come back and get them next story time, or very, very carefully take those home. Isn't that awesome? I just really love this one. And I think those little ones who've had a lot of experience with Band-Aids will really get a kick out of making fireflies this way. So I hope you'll use that idea as well.
Just a couple of notes, Jen, while you're switching crafts there. We do have a Pinterest page for Ready to Read Michigan. It's pinterest.com/ready-to-read-michigan. And then the collaborative summer library programs, Universe of Stories manuals, as well as their Pinterest feed, which you can find at CSLP Reads. Those have lots of great crafting and activities to go with this. And we did have one question, and I realized, I think I sent you the abbreviated kit, our smaller packet, and all the public libraries got this on cardstock for them to cut out, laminate, and share as a flannel board. And
Beautiful, because somebody asked about flannel boards.
yes,
Oh, that would be just wonderful when the owl comes in and then saying good night to all those animals, right?
yes.
How
And
beautiful.
one of my suggestions for that would, how to engage them with that might be to retell the story after you put the
Yep,
book down and have kids be able to go up and physically pat the owl's head.
yep, and do all those action words with the
Mhm.
flannel board. How wonderful. Or
Yeah,
tell a new version of that story, right?
right.
And tell it any way that they feel like they want to create that story using what's already familiar to them. Those are beautiful, Kath.
Or to use one of the songs,
Mm-hmm.
with the fireflies, and
Yep,
so
they blink a link a link.
yes,
Yep.
perfect. So
Wonderful.
that is available in all the boxes, but we didn't have extras of that to
Okay.
share out. So
That's
the
fine. Thanks
public
for sharing
libraries.
that, though. Those are beautiful. I love the illustrations in these. It's really great. So one more idea I wanted to share with you, and then we'll open up for some questions if you have them, is that when we talk about the Big Dipper, and it's because it's African American Month, right? It's African American History Month. This great book called Follow the Ideas for Drinking Gourd. And I started thinking about how they call the Big Dipper, the dipper or the ladle. And it used to be that ladles were made out of gourds, and it would be wonderful to bring some gourds in that have been turned into ladles. And then actually talk about the fact that D was for drinking gourd, and the North Star that led through the night from station to station in the Underground Railroad. This is a higher concept, so maybe preschool and older, right? Escaping on a dangerous flight. And it talks all about why the Big Dipper was called the drinking gourd and why the slaves found the North Star and followed the drinking gourd to their freedom. So I just wanted to add that because of the month that we're in, and this book is awesome. So an African American alphabet, D is drinking gourd, written by Nancy I. Sanders. It's not in your packet. Illustrated by E.B. Lewis. So I hope that you'll use that along with the other resources that we've talked about. So let's see if there's any questions out there that I can answer for you. We've covered a lot. Again, I will create a YouTube video for the Night of the Stars. It's such a beautiful play story, and we really want them to play and act out, and that's a really good example. And I think that the song that I did for using these, Kathy, wasn't in the packet either. I forgot to put that in there, so I'll need to get that to you as well, all right? It's
All
a song
right,
that you've probably heard before, but I just changed the words to go with our theme, which we did,
great.
right? All right,
Well, I'm sharing right now all the links so that
great.
those that are watching the recording have a second to maybe write these
All right.
down. They can pause their screen on the recording to write down the full links, but I will be sharing this out along with the recording.
The
So,
recording, good.
yeah,
Kathy, one more thing about the slides. I
yes.
work with a lot of disabled children, and especially children who are dealing with symptoms of autism. And because of their symptoms of autism, they don't imagine in the same way that maybe other kids do. So sometimes, depending on my audience, I will tell that story and have those sides while I'm telling the story so that they can have something to look at that's a little bit bigger. And the screen is something that helps them, especially if you make those slides have a transition. It really helps them stay focused and pay attention. So you now have the slides from the Night of the Stars if you are to get that book and tell that story. Okay? So any questions for those of you who are still on the webinar that you'd like to ask?
It's quiet.
Okay.
While they're typing, if you guys want to type anything in, anything that you didn't quite feel was answered or that's come up, I just want to highlight that also in the programming guide are these book suggestions. And these are printable pages. At the back of the programming guide, they're unnumbered so that you can print them one-sided or two-sided, and feel free to hand them out in your story times to families. And if you don't own a title, don't forget that they can check it out through mel.org.
Yeah, the booklets were awesome. This resource packet, Kathy, did you help work on that?
I did. Our author is Megan Shed,
Yeah.
and she's done quite a number of these over the years.
It's really
most of the credit
helpful.
goes to her.
You guys don't avoid looking at that, because and I've read it many, many times, and my head went crazy with my own ideas, but everything spilled out for you there, and you can grab from each of the different sections. It's just an awesome resource. So between this webinar and that resource booklet, I hope you use this book and have a wonderful time. I had a great time getting ready for this with you. So
Great.
well, other questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, Jen. We always love having Jennifer Strauss with us, and we're grateful to the Institute of Museum and Library Services for sponsoring webinars such as these. And your links are in the chat box. Please don't forget to fill out the survey. It takes literally like 2 to 3 minutes of your time. It's very short. So thank you, everybody. I don't see any questions, Jen. You answered everything, I guess.
There's so much more I'd like to share. So
Right.
that's my plan is to make some short YouTube videos to follow up and have those available for free on my YouTube station, which you can subscribe to, so that you can go there and see other examples. But I'll make sure Kathy gets this one. Okay?
Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day.
See you later.